Hello, my name is Khadijah Johnson, and this is my project for public health informatics. I will be completing a Twitter analysis of the hashtag Black Mental Health. Topic introduction. Formerly revered as a fad, social media is a space on the internet that is more than just a place to share experiences. Social media can be a space where information is shared at a faster pace and spread to areas where it may not have been reached before. One of the social media platforms where this is particularly true is Twitter. Often referred to as a millennial's encyclopedia and newsroom, Twitter facilitates so many exchanges on the platform. This project will review the power of this exchange and the implications that follow online. Background into topic. Black mental health has been an ongoing theme on social media platforms and a topic of research that I have been exploring throughout my graduate career. While African Americans are historically known for being uninterested and underserved in the mental health community, mental health has been a growing conversation that has its origins on social media platforms. The purpose of this Twitter analysis is to collect tweets using the hashtag Black Mental Health to review what types of resources and conversations that take place on this platform. Additionally, the overall sentiments of these tweets will be reviewed to understand the climate of this conversation about Black mental health. Black mental health is a popular hashtag that has been used by multiple health organizations online to encourage the discussion of mental health in the African American community. Methods used. There were two sets of data collected using two different methods of collection. The original data was collected from February 14th to February 21st using the Twitter API technology directly from the social media application with the assistance from Professor Roberts. The second set of data was collected from April 6th to April 14th using a third-party integrated application in Google Slides. Unfortunately, after many attempts, the Twitter API technology was not easy to replicate. With timelines approaching, the third-party application was introduced. So just as a recap, I was going back and forth on if I did really want to get a second set of data that was suggested to me when we had our face-to-face, and I decided to go with it last minute, and I kind of changed things around just because I wasn't satisfied with the results that I got. I think it didn't tell the story that I was trying to tell, so I did end up going back a little later and adding this data. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to replicate what Professor Roberts was able to do at my computer on work and at home. Just wasn't agreeing with the technology. So I just decided to wing it, and I found that application in Google, and it worked out for me. A lot of the same information was captured, and I was able to really compare the data. So we'll get into that next. Data collection from February 2018. Of all the information that was collected from the Twitter API technology, the following will be used in the analysis. So the tweets were collected from 12/14 to 12/21. 64 total tweets were collected that were applied, and 7 pieces of information collected about each tweet. Data collection for April 2018. Of all the information that was collected from the Google third-party application, the following will be used in the analysis. So tweets collected from 4/6 to 4/13. There were 77 total tweets that were collected and applied to this, and 7 pieces of information will be collected from each tweet. Data collection overall. So what are these 7 categories? The 7 categories of the tweets are the date of the tweet, the screen name, so the account that is posted the tweet, the verification status of the tweet, so that means whether the tweet is from someone who's considered a celebrity or a public figure, the tweet content, so what the tweet said, extended link, so if a link was embedded into the tweets, the favorite, so how many times the tweet was favorited or liked by users on Twitter, and then the retweets, so the amount of times that tweet was reposted by other users on Twitter. So a little difference between favorite and retweet. You can favorite something and it won't come up on your timeline using Twitter. It will stay in its own separate tab. However, when you retweet something, that goes on your physical timeline that all of your followers can see. So it's a little bit more of an agreement. It's kind of like the difference between agree and strongly agree. So let's get into a few numbers. Analysis of the tweets from February of 2018. There were 0 verified accounts. The highest number of faves on a tweet was 25. The highest number of retweets on a tweet was 12. And the most popular Twitter was Soul I Says, and she had 11 tweets for that month. So a little bit of further analysis on the tweets. We're going to look at the extended links embedded in the tweets. Of all the tweets collected, there were 10 threads links. There were 6 video links, 5 blog links, 2 website links, 8 image links, 2 podcast links, 3 links that went to a comment, 9 links that went to an article, 3 links that went to an IG post, and 17 tweets that included no links at all. Move on to the analysis of the tweets for April of 2018. Again, there were 0 verified accounts. The highest number of faves on a single tweet was 29, and the highest number of retweets on a tweet was 16. The ironic thing about that is there were 14 tweets that had 16 retweets, on them. And then again, for the month of April, the most popular tweeter was Soul I Says, and this month she had 9 tweets that included the hashtag. Okay, so we're going to get into some further analysis of the tweets from April of 2018. Again, we will be looking at the extended links that are embedded in these tweets. So from the tweets of April, 5 tweets included a link to an image, 16 tweets included a link to an article, 12 tweets included a link to a video, 1 tweet included a link to an event, 2 tweets included either a link to a direct tweet or a thread, and 1 link was directed back to an Instagram post. The remaining tweets, so 40 tweets, had no link at all. And that's a significant difference from the February data. It looks as if users didn't want to share any external or embedded links to go back to different sources of media. And that is a really big change that I noticed. So now we're going to talk about the implication from these tweets, specifically for February of 2018. One thing is that a lot of the tweets were influenced by Black History Month. So they did include threads about famous or historical people in Black mental health. So that's professionals, professors, different media persons. Moving on, there was a varied in sharing of information of resources. So whether it came from the embedded links or the tweet content themselves, there was a lot of information being shared. There were a lot of sources that led to different types of articles or different types of resources that they wanted to share with users. The third thing is that a lot of the tweets were influenced by media. So a lot of the tweets had to do with Black Panther because that movie had recently come out. It also had to do with, Black History Month and the different songs or, events that people wanted to include Black mental health in. And then overall, a lot of the tweets were very supportive in nature. So whether it was providing people with resources or linking people back to really important videos that they thought they needed to see or articles that have recently been published, a lot of the tweets contents were very, very, very supportive. Moving forward, we're going to talk about the implications from the tweets from April of 2018. They were heavily influenced by media. So what I mean is there was a news story that broke about Mariah Carey coming out about her bipolar disorder, and then there were other news that came out, and it was very influential. So a lot of the tweets were surrounded about media that was being released or news that was being released. So they were more like commenting on what was happening. There was less variability among resources and shared information. So of the articles, of the videos, of the things that were shared, or the information that was shared, a lot of it was about the same stuff, or the same articles, or the same video being just shared around. Additionally, they were more informational. So a lot of this was more like, this is information that we want people on our timelines to see. Oh, this came out or that came out. So I guess it's more newsworthy, I guess, and less sharing how, I feel, or commenting on how we want the community to rise. It was really informational. And then lastly, like I said earlier, there was less variability among the tweets overall. One thing that the Google third party captured was a lot of retweets. So not the traditional just retweeting with the icon that you can choose, but you can retweet with a comment. So a lot of people were adding their comment like, wow, or interesting, but it was the same kind of content that was being shared, especially about Mariah Carey, especially about the Black Panther movie, and because there was an article linking the characters in the movie talking about Black mental health. So there was just less variability overall. So from the implications from the tweets overall, so what I learned from the project pretty much, and the overall sentiments of the tweets, is overall there were a lot of positive conversations. There was nothing saying like Black mental health is silly, or it's stupid, or it's dumb. It was all about, this is information that I think my users, or my followers, I guess I should say, should know, or something that I agree with. It was very, very positive. Second, it was driven heavily by Black media. So if it was a movie, or specifically the Black Panther, or a person in media such as Mariah Carey that came out with a story, or it just being about Black people, and being heavily influenced by Black History Month. So Black media played a big influence on the conversation, and I expected to see that simply because the hashtag includes a demographic category. So when you put Black in front of something, I assume that it would be tied into, another Black subgenre of media. A lot of the tweets were news sensitive. So if Black Panther, it's been a big news topic in the media, it showed on Twitter. A big thing that came out was Mariah Carey talked about her suffering from bipolar disorder, and you only saw that in April because it came out in April. You didn't see, even though people have assumed that she suffered from some sort of mental illness, even though we knew that, or it's a popular rumor that was surfaced way before she came out. You didn't see those type of tweets in February. And while Black Panther carried because the movie is still very popular, I feel like had the movie not been popular, you wouldn't have seen it in February like you've seen it in April. But because it's had this longevity, it's very about what's on the news, which Twitter is a thing of. It's definitely millennials newsroom as well, I'd like to add. So you're going to see that. And one of the major things is sharing of resources. Even in April that it went down of the amount of resources, still nearly half of the tweets included some sort of additional media that their followers could see. And that was really important. And especially in February, and I think it had a lot to do with it being Black History Month, there was such a large sharing of media and resources and history and facts and things that, a lot of people thought that their users should know. So those are just the overall implications from the review of the tweets from February and April. So to wrap everything up, let's just move to this conclusion. For so long, mental health was a taboo topic among African Americans, and what we did share had a negative implication. Using social media has allowed for African Americans all across the world to connect to each other and support each other. Additionally, the conversations online have created a normalcy around mental health in our community. This normalizing of mental health in the Black community has influenced public health to shift in providing more resources and events within our community. Speaking specifically to myself and here in Detroit, there has been a major shift. Even I see it on my timeline as a young Black millennial. People are talking about therapy and why it's important. And I love to see this conversation getting started because for so long, like I've written about previously, it's just been really swept under the rug or made to feel like it's something wrong with you. There have been an increase in media, even in our TV shows, and people talking about, have you seen a therapist? Are you seeing a therapist? You know, do you need assistance? Do you need help? Let's talk about it. On YouTube, it's one of my favorite places on the world, and they have included, a lot of my favorite YouTubers have included this. And then additionally, there's been an influx in media from podcasts. My favorite podcast is Therapy for Black Girls. So there is a wanting, and I think it all started on social media, or it has a lot to do with us being so transparent online, and that transparency carries over to what we demand in our world, especially in our health world. So again, I thank you guys for listening to me, and I hope that you enjoyed this. Please let me know if you see any holes or anything. I'd love some criticism so I can make this presentation better, and I look forward to this summer with you guys. Thank you.